It's the last question of the day.
How would you like to be remembered? Or another way to word it is, what would you like your legacy to be? You know, what would you like your legacy to be? It's the last question. What would you like your legacy to be? You know, how would you like to be remembered? What would you like your legacy to be? How would you like to be remembered?
As someone who was kind and generous and looked after animals.
Certainly do that.
That's it, really.
Yeah?
Yeah,
It's nice and simple.
yeah.
Someone who's a kind,
Didn't make things worse.
generous animal lover.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, maybe just as somebody who kind of did things their own way and didn't cave into sort of societal pressures. Somebody who just kind of did things the way I feel is true to myself. And I guess somebody who wasn't a dick. Just somebody who was just like...
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but like...
Yeah, just someone who was like open-minded and open to change and just open to interacting with and helping different people.
Like to be known as someone who helped people. Yeah, like I think like the cool thing about being creative and like making films in particular is like, you know, a film has existed for about 120 odd years, and you know there's people still watch films, you know, kind of from maybe not that era, but certainly from like the 20s, you know, 100 years ago, Jim and, you know, expressionist stuff. So, you know, yeah, I'd like to, you know, make a film or hopefully, you know, a few films that people, yeah, might watch in the future. Who knows, you know, who knows if they'll be any good.
Yeah, I mean, even though this is just a little YouTube video, I'm kind of hoping the same thing will happen, actually, because we're talking about quality of life things, aren't we? Philosophy and what makes you happy, things like that. I'd really love it if someone wanted to watch it and thought, actually, that's helped me.
As a force for good.
Batman quote.
No, I would like to be remembered as somebody who's positive. I've recently returned to a job that I had for 20 years. I was made redundant, and then I left there, and I've been gone 3 years. And then returning, hearing how people have talked about me to people who don't know me, has been really rewarding. And I guess in the same way, that's how I'd like people to think about me when I'm long gone. So, you know, people said, "Oh, you'll love Dean. You'll love the energy that he's got. You'll love his positivity. Always got a smile on his face." And I do outwardly. Outwardly, I seem like a very happy and party person. Because I don't want to perpetuate any negativity or people feeling down or whatever.
What would I like to leave behind? What legacy? That is, I've got to say, one of the questions that I've pondered for a long time. I think as I hit my 40s, that was when that started to come to a bit of a fruition in my head. It's a tough one. It is really a tough one. I think, for me, that I would just like people to remember me for who I was. I would like to, the legacy that I would like to leave behind would be that I was a nice person that brought a bit of, you know, I wouldn't say meaning to people's lives, that's not the right word I'm looking for, but people would remember me fondly.
Maybe legacy comes more naturally to people that have kids. Maybe you think about legacy more when you have children, and you think about the world beyond your world and what you're leaving to your children. And maybe
True, I think maybe that's part of the reason why people do have families, is because they want to have a legacy as well.
Yes.
They want to see their direct bloodline carried on, and
they want to pass things on to their kids that then get passed on to their kids, and so a part of them lives on. Whereas I sort of feel like, I don't know if it's a morbid mindset or what, but I just think I'm here, I'll enjoy the time I have, and when I'm gone, I'm gone, and I expect.
well, I think a lot of people. You
forget.
started off by saying, you know, I want to be remembered for someone who didn't succumb to societal norms and needs and stuff like that. It's basically like you're saying, like, you've escaped the matrix, or at least understood the matrix.
Yes.
And I think people that have done that don't really think about their legacy, because they understand that they're just. It's important for them just to live day by day and not be a dick.
Yeah, just enjoy the time you have here, and be okay with the fact that once you're gone, the world carries on without you.
It's interesting that you didn't choose any of your musical endeavours in that. I don't want you to suddenly pivot and.
No, not at all. But I think it sits in that for as much as my music isn't skippity music and happy and all that. I think that there's very much a positive message to be taken from it. So I think it sits within there.
Right.
But I think yeah,
you're more than. No, that's not your sole identity. You're not. You know, some people choose their identity based on what it is they do for either a hobby or a living. That's them.
yeah.
Whereas you're more multi kind of.
I think if you'd asked me that question maybe 20 years ago, I might have been way more defined by music and those sorts of endeavours. But I think as you grow, or certainly as I've grown older, lost people that I've really cared about, gained people in my life that I really care about, I think I found personally for me what's important is the human aspect and that connection.
I totally agree with you, because you know, when I was younger, I used to think, like, I wanted to make a feature film. I wanted to make my own films, be a successful film director and stuff. I used to think it was so important, and I thought everyone else would think it was important as well. But now, I just don't care in the slightest. It's just completely meaningless in the bigger picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
As an individual who has to try and be happy and cope with what life throws at you and things, you can't define yourself by
A tiny aspect.
exactly. You need to be fully rounded, and have all areas of your life be giving you something back, not just this one thing.
In terms of, how I was, I think in terms of an actual legacy, I mean, I've done a lot in my life. I've got a lot of things to be thankful for. I worked on magazines. I did music journalism and all that kind of stuff. And that was like a dream come true for me. When I take it back to the days when we were rapping and things along those sorts of lines, there's the body of work that we did together was something to behold. That's something I've done. I've done so much in my life. I've shared stages with people I never thought I'd share stages with. I've interviewed people I never thought I'd interview. So I think in that sense, I think I would leave quite a mark. It's something where if I was to go, I can think that I've fulfilled my life. I've got 2 lovely children. I've got a great partner, stuff along those sorts of lines, lovely family and all that. But I think the main thing that I would just like to be remembered as fondly, if that makes sense, Dwiz. When people think of me, when I'm no longer here, that they're like, they've got fond memories. That guy wasn't an arsehole. That would be the main bottom line. Do you catch my drift?
You might struggle with that one.
Yeah, I know. You've got your own faults. I have to be subjective.
As
It
if you
does,
weren't
to be
here.
fair, because like almost everyone that like wants a legacy or whatever, no one cares.
Yeah,
It's only for them,
ultimately.
their comfort. But once they're
Yes.
gone, they're gone.
It's-
Really, some people have a legacy like Beethoven or Da Vinci or Churchill or something.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you're talking about such a very tiny, small individual amount of people.
Yeah.
But-
For most of us, we're here, we do our thing, and we're gone, and the world carries on. And so, for me, legacy feels like a strange thing to consider because I feel like I'm just one of billions of people that are existing or will exist, and the world carries on without us.
Well, you are.
Yeah, I think just, you know, be a net positive kind of impact on the world. You know, like kind of give more than I take, you know, like I guess from a material point of view and from a kind of conscious, you know, without wanting to sound super wanky, you know, from a consciousness point of view as well.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone thought of giving more than they take, would be advancing as a species a lot faster. Not technologically wise, but just spiritually and looking after each other, taking care of each other's mental health. You know, always being there for other people, things like that. wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I think I know what's important to me, and it's people.
And it's that hat
And it's this hat,
that's 30 years old.
30-year-old hat.
And you pointed out earlier when we were walking down to this location that we've now known each other exactly 30 years.
30 years, Dwiz and I have known each other, and for the benefits of the camera, we were getting together to do a photo shoot back in the day when we were doing music. I bought this hat in the closing down sale of CMA
For the photo shoot.
for the photo shoot. And yeah, and my hat still lasts. I feel like Indiana Jones with his fedora. This is my hat. If I was rolling underneath a boulder,
You'd
this
be
would
like that where you're leaning down to get the golden goblet and your dad's trying to pull you up. You remember that bit? And he's like, let it go, son. You're like, my hat!
I think I would go with the hat.
Well, I think your legacy will be colour.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people like,
Yeah.
oh, do you remember that girl who, like, every single thing she ever wore was a completely different colour to any other part of what she was wearing or any other part of her body.
Yeah. See
like,
the
yeah,
way
that-
her way into people's brains.
That colourful, like, glimpsing view of that really colourful girl that we saw for 5 minutes the other day.
Yeah.
That's your legacy.
That's not bad. I like that.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Because I think it's just, I suppose it's just being just a good person.
Yeah, we were talking actually on that bench during our cup of tea. I was saying that all the things you think you want when you're younger, as you get a bit older, you realise that they're pointless.
Yeah.
And you have shown there that, like, I think if you ask someone when they're younger what they want their legacy to be, they'd be like, oh, I want to have released the best hip hop album, or, you know, I want to have written the best book, or I want to be remembered as like the best looking model or whatever.
Yeah.
But as you get older, it's like, no, I just want to be appreciated as a person.
Yeah. You shrug off that materialistic lifestyle and you kind of start to appreciate the more, you know. I think to myself now as I border towards 50, you know, I don't really feel in my head that I'm 50 years old or what I perceived a 50-year-old to be like when I was in my 20s. What I do think is that you have life experiences and you become more wiser in your thoughts. And then that leads to these certain sort of changes in you, you know. And I've noticed a change in myself, you know, as we well know. I was really into my hip hop and stuff like that. But as times moved on, that kind of lifestyle was detracted from me now, you know. And as you say about, there probably was a time, if you'd asked me when we were in the studio when I was in my 20s about that exact same question, it'd be, we release a banger and we get to tour the world and we get to do all this. Now that doesn't appeal to me so much anymore. Sometimes I feel like just getting a good night's sleep would be a great legacy to leave behind, you know what I mean? Or cooking a decent meal. And I think that's because you become simplistic in your approach as you move forward, because you realise that none of that stuff truly matters, you know? It's about being that happy person, you know?
Wicked. Bro, it's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Love one another.
I've really enjoyed this chat, and we're going to be back in the summer talking about music, aren't we?
We are indeed.
So I hope everyone looks forward to that and enjoys this chat we've had with my friend Duke01. Peace out, man. Let's go get warmed up.
Innit?
It's all right, man.
Yeah, put it there, man.
Respect every time, no worries.
That's been fun, thank you. That's all the questions, Jane.
No, well, my pleasure. I've enjoyed it.
Amazing work.